You're surrounded by sun. You know, in
Yeah.
St. Petersburg, the forecast says that we are going to have 1 below 0 in a couple days
Oh
and a
no.
little bit of snow as well. Yes, welcome back to the winter.
Oh my. Oh my. I don't want to come back to the terrible weather in Moscow.
No, please don't. Enjoy your lovely time being. Well, I cannot call it vacations because it's not vacation, right?
No, it's not vacation. I have a lot of stuff to do here. Not much
Mhm.
time because really I don't want to come back to that weather, but I really do want to come back to some special person.
Ah, con hombre.
Hombre.
Понятно. Okay. Елизавета, how are you today?
I'm fine. I'm well slept.
At 12.
So read 2 articles that you sent.
Mm-hmm. So you're a good girl.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, maybe do you enjoy weather in Moscow right now? You said you're from Moscow, right?
Yes, I'm from Moscow, and yes, the weather is beautiful now for the last few days. And I also saw that it will be below the 0 soon, and it's awful.
Oh, welcome to St. Petersburg. You know, today I I teach my sister English as well, and she is at dacha. She's at country house right now, and she said that the temperature every night goes below 0, first of all, and it's very cold, and her dacha is around 60 or 70 kilometers from St. Petersburg. And not very far from her house, there is a stork nest. And usually, she says that usually by this time, the storks are already back, making their nest cozy, eggs. But this time, no storks.
It's too cold for
That
storks.
yes. And she said that this spring it's very strange. She doesn't see a lot of birds. There are very few birds came back from Africa, from the south, and we had very interesting conversation about how do they know it's cold and why they don't come back. Who tells that it's cold in St. Petersburg? You shouldn't come. Who? Maybe
They
they
use
have their
internet.
bird. Yes, that was my answer. I said maybe they have their bird internet. They have little bird smartphones, and that's how they use it.
Yes.
But seriously, how do you know? How birds know?
I think they feel it's in the genetics. They feel the weather, and so the
So they like
wind maybe. I don't know the влажность.
humidity.
Humidity maybe. I don't know how do they feel
Is there write some words? Lyoka, do you know if in Hangouts there is a place where I can write some words for example, like humidity or blossoming or?
Групповой the chat. There is a chat.
Ah, I see. Okay.
On the right side.
Okay. So first one will be for Lyoka to blossom.
Yes. And about blossom and about flowers and trees, you should go to Israel. I was in Israel in April. So everything is blossoming.
It's blossoming.
Blossoming.
Yes.
Yeah. Very beautiful.
You know, it's funny. I spent 4 years of my life in Dahab, and which is super close to Israel and Lyoka. That's where I met Lyoka, and you know, in Israel, people made a lot of effort, okay, to make it green.
Yes.
So, but usually they have bougainvillea that is blossoming over there. That's the common flower. That's the common flower everywhere in Israel and Egypt. Гимвелии, как-то так они называются. Have beautiful red or white flowers.
Huh?
You know, girls, do you have a supermarket Lenta in Moscow?
Yes, I think it was somewhere Lenta. I don't remember actually.
What is it?
Because in St. Petersburg, it's very famous. It's very not famous, popular supermarket, like chain of supermarkets, and they have a special advertising, like a promotion. If you buy products for more than 1,000 rubles, for 1,000 rubles, you get seeds. It's called Akция Plantaция, and you get seeds, torf pot, and torf tablet, torf pill. Okay, and you can grow your own vegetables at house. And I hoped that I will plant my seeds, and then when it's warmer, I'll plant it outside of my building. I will watch how my pumpkin is growing and how other things are growing as well. But seriously, the weather doesn't let me do that, and right now all my windowsill looks like a crazy огородник.
So you plant the flowers on your outside your flat?
No, it's not flowers. I planted pumpkin. I planted basil, dill, parsley,
Outside
cucumbers,
the window?
tomatoes.
Outside your windows?
Not yet. No, on my windowsill.
On my
Windowsill.
windowsill. But after that, you will put it out the window or not?
Yeah, I want to. Yes, I want to. Yeah.
Where? Do you have a windowsill outside the window?
No. How to say it? I don't know if there is such a reality in.
Some shelves?
No. I want to plant it into the earth, into the soil.
Into the soil.
Okay?
Near the house.
I want to plant it like my building is surrounded.
I don't hear you.
Lawn. My building is surrounded by lawn.
Lawn.
What is lawn?
What is lawn? Can you type it? Lawn.
Yeah, but
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And that's where I'm planning to plant it.
Pumpkins and basil and etc.
Yeah.
And nobody will take it.
Nobody will take it. I'm
okay.
100% sure somebody will steal it. Maybe until somebody steals it, I will enjoy watching how it grows.
It's a goodwill.
I wish.
Yes, I see.
That people are nice. So where is everybody, Doc? Do you know? Maybe something happened again with people who went to a different virtual room?
Yeah, girls, telling me where they are. I sent them a link just like an hour ago. And, well, I don't know where they are.
Maybe they didn't get the like I didn't have the letter. Maybe they didn't get it too.
Maybe I'll send another message right now, but it's a strange
because I didn't have not in spam, not anywhere. So I wrote to you because of it.
Okay, you did it well, Елизавета. Well, there is Veronica. Come.
we are waiting for?
At least one person, and the second one should.
About 2 people.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, while we're waiting, I guess maybe we can start talking about books a little bit. And
Yeah, why not?
Loka, what do you think?
Yeah, let's talk. Let's talk.
So we have you, Loka, and we have you, Elizaveta. So I think it's enough for where and right now we can start talking actually about the topic we wanted to talk in initially, right? So we wanted to talk about books and literature. I sent you 2 articles, and of course we are going to discuss these articles as well. But first of all, I prepared a list of questions to all of you. Start our conversation. So first, my first question is, are you reading a good book or just any book at the moment?
No, I am not.
Yes,
Okay.
but I'm reading very slowly, just when I'm taking a metro, for example. Polina?
Yoko, when you're doing what? You're reading very slowly because when you have time, or?
Yeah, when I go, for example, when I take underground metro to go somewhere, so I take the book and I read it there. Or when I go to a doctor and I take it with me to pass time there, or how should I say it?
So yeah, just to kill the time.
To kill the time if I have to wait.
Okay. Instead of being zombie and checking your Facebook page, you're reading. It's a good thing to do. So what are you reading right now?
Oh, girls. I'm reading The Art of Sex in Ancient China.
Hey, haha.
Yeah, and you know, it's so interesting, I should say.
Well,
if it is so interesting, why do you read it so slow?
Because time, I'm sure she's a super busy person.
Yes, I don't really have much time, but you know, there are some parts that were not very interesting. For example, the author was describing some changes in Chinese dynasties. The government of China, Asian China, and so there were not very topics, not very close to sex. But now,
oh damn it!
Yeah, but now I got to, and you know what? It's so frustrating. It was so frustrating. So the author describes what they did actually, but the most interesting things are written in Latin. Can you imagine it? So I can't understand.
You speak Spanish. You should understand Latin.
No,
you don't.
I can't. Well, okay, I can understand like vagina or something like that.
Vagina. Okay.
I don't get the sense.
But seriously, yes, the name of the book is really, really interesting.
Yeah, and you know, it's really
okay.
And the содержание. What?
The content.
The content is also very interesting. Not 100%, but like 70-80% of the content is very.
Sure it is.
Yeah.
How often do you read books like that, like Art of Sex or something? Or
it's my first time, really, and you know what? I haven't done this before.
Okay, because maybe you know something interesting that you would like to recommend me. I'd love to read something like that.
Well, if I know, I'll tell you.
Okay. Okay, good. Okay, very interesting. Well, if we're talking about me, I don't read anything. Reading anything for a very long time, to my shame. But I read and I liked was The Gun Girl, Исчезнувшая. But there was a movie.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Very
I
interesting.
also don't know the movie. Or the book.
Well, there was a movie. It starts that the husband goes to his kitchen and he realizes that his wife is missing. He starts looking for his wife. He's a perfect husband, and his life was very good and everything was perfect. And then step by step, you understand that his wife is absolutely psychopath. Is absolute psychopath. That he is not as good as everybody thought because he has a lover, etc., etc. So it's very interesting. It's like a detective story and thriller in the same time. So if you haven't read, the book, and maybe you should watch a movie. It's also called Gun Girl, Исчезнувшая.
Okay, thank you.
Interesting. But it's not, it's not like classical literature. And also, one of the book I enjoyed reading some time ago, it was, I always forget, апельсина или 4 дольки апельсина, something like that. This book impressed me about France. And about the relationship of French people with the German soldiers. Pretty interesting, even taking into consideration that I'm not a big fan of any military books. So, okay, what kind of books do you like? Okay, or don't like?
Well, the fact is that lately, mostly, I've been reading not classical literature, but some like business literature, something about time management or something about business development or something about personal development and all that stuff, And I like these books. I really feel like sometimes they help me to grow, to become better. And so I haven't been reading like classical literature for a long time. I don't remember the last book that I read of that kind.
I see. But so you prefer right now? You prefer some educating literature, right? Educate you in some ways.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, Елизавета, what do you say? What books you like and you don't like?
I absolutely can't read the business books. They are boring to me. I like to read the modern literature. Usually, actually, I have several authors that I like. I usually, such as Saramago, or I don't know, a lot of. The last one I read was Saramago, José Saramago. Maybe you heard about him. He's the Portuguese writer. And he writes something like social drama, something like that. It's psychological books. They make me think, and he has a very good language. He's the Nobel laureate of literature. But these books, they are very they're very hard. I mean that when you read one book, it's a lot of thoughts, and it impresses you. So after this book, I close it and I don't read for a long time anything, because I just
digest what you just read, right? Перевариваешь, you digest it.
Yes. So
just read.
so I read rare, but I read rare, but big books and something psychological that can
I see.
get inside me.
Don't like.
Huh?
And what books you don't like? Like you don't like business books?
They are for me. It's very boring. Yes, I don't like, and I don't like books without any sense. So the yellow books, I don't like them also, because they don't make me think about something. Just gum, chewing gum.
Just for brain, I think.
Yes.
I
So,
can see Alessia says. Sorry.
yes.
I can see Alessia has joined us. So Alessia, welcome. We are talking here about books, of course, because it was a topic of our conversation club. So Alessia, tell me, please, are you reading anything right now, and what books you like or you don't like? Alessia?
Yeah, hello. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can, and we ask you some questions.
Yes. Sorry for being late. Yes, I'm reading,
Okay.
but not as much as I would like to. The last book I've read, it was The Godfather, and I really enjoy reading the books from films. So first I watch film, and after that I read books. I don't like science fiction. I don't like psychology books. What I don't like detectives, and what else? And I nowadays I read lots of books concerning my job. So with teaching German, Italian, and so on. So I wish I could have more free time for books, and I prefer electronic books. So I have I have some apps like chitai.ru, so read.ru, and I use electronic books. Do you have any questions?
You use ebooks. Are you reading anything right now? Are you reading any book right now?
Right now, I'm studying in Goethe University. That's why I don't have any opportunities or chances to read something more because of the lack of time.
Wow, so you're a young mom and you're also a student, right?
Yes, mom, student, and teacher, and it's very difficult to combine everything. But on the 20th of May, my studying will be over, and I think I will get a book with me on seaside, and I will continue my favorite hobby, reading.
We'll have some free time actually for you, a little bit of rest, yes, because studying, teaching, being mom, it's a lot of things, so we all are trying to do in the same time. Okay, so your favorite book, if there is any, because right now this question is very strange. You know, some people say I have many favorite books. For example, in my life, favorite books, they were divided into different period. I remember there was a period of my life when I was absolutely crazy about Harry Potter books. okay, when I was in the university, and all my group mates, we made a line who will read next book of Harry Potter in English, because it's very difficult to find a book in English. And and I can say that there are different periods of my life when there is a favorite book. So this question is a little bit strange, but in the same time, maybe someone has a really like a favorite book of all time or something like that. So what is your favorite book? Anyone?
Or in Russian?
It doesn't matter. We talk about any books. It doesn't matter what language. I was 12. I was big fan of Mein Ried. That was the time when I started to write my own love stories, and all my love stories, they were exactly like Mein Ried stories. They were about love. They were about a noble knight who would save a beautiful princess, something like that. So, you know, but right now it's a little bit different. I'm okay with Mein Ried anymore.
I have also the periods of favorite authors, maybe not books, but authors. So I was fond of Remarque. It was a period of Remarque. I read everything what he wrote, what I can find, that I could find. Then I was fond of Zola, and I read everything what he wrote.
Such an interesting and serious books.
Yes, so it was periods of. I by the way, I have never read Harry Potter. Not a single book. I just saw it in the cinema. So maybe I should find it in English and read it now. It's a good idea.
Well, my personal recommendation is to read Harry Potter in English only. First of all, it will help you to improve your language, okay? And
Yes.
I'm not saying your language is bad, not at all. I'm just saying that Harry Potter is written with a very good and easy to read language, but also it has good humor, it has good vocabulary, and it's a very interesting book. I have an American friend. She is also a big fan of Harry Potter books. So, okay.
Instead of Harry Potter, I was fond of Tolkien. Of how to say?
Well, Tolkien is more difficult than Harry Potter, I guess.
Yes, I'm sure. I'm sure he is, and I wasn't read it in English. I read it in Russian when I was 12, I think. So I read all.
But did you read Lord of the Rings, or you read the story about Hobbit?
I read part of the story of the Lord of the Rings, and I read Hobbit because at that time there was no books. It was 93, I guess, 94, and I have several books, and when when they appears the whole series
appears,
yes. I was grown, and I bought them and I read them. So
I see. Okay.
I read everything.
But how I read Hobbit, and I didn't read Lord of the Rings, and then after a few years later I read Lord of the Rings, and I also enjoyed it very, very much. Okay, Lyoka, Olesya, about your favorite book or books or period of books.
Well, I thought it comes to my mind that Master and Margarita is one of my favorite books, and I've got not the favorite author, but one of my favorite authors is Salinger, and I've read all the books that I could find of Salinger, and I read it in Russian, and I don't know the translation, the original name of Not пропусти вожжи.
The Catcher in the Rye.
Yeah, The Catcher in the Rye, and that book is really wonderful, and it influenced me in a way that I really couldn't realize. Well, I just felt something, that something is changing inside me, but I couldn't say what it was, and that was very, very curious feelings.
I'm trying to remember what I felt when I read The Catcher in the Rye, and I don't made the same impact on me as it had on you. So
that in States, in United States, in mid or in the second part of 20th century, as I've heard, or as I read somewhere, they put the name of the bars of this book in a special list, because they considered that this book could provoke some psychological like changes in mind. For example, some murderers were reading these books. For example,
oh really? So murder, убийство?
Yeah, like murderer, like the person who kills. For example, the killer of John Lennon was
influenced by Catcher in the Rye.
Yeah. It was his favorite book, something like that. Yeah, and I felt when I was reading this book, I felt very, very strange. So there is something strange in about this book, but I like it.
I see. Okay, I went. So you like The Catcher in the Rye? I'm trying to remember. Right now when I'm talking to you, like when Yelizaveta mentioned Remark and when you mentioned Salinger, a lot of amazing books, come to my mind, like Flying Over the Cuckoo Nest. How I enjoyed it so much, and Заводной апельсин, the scary book. Probably you all read it, or you remember that how the person was treated.
I've seen the movie.
After reading the book, I couldn't watch the movie. I was afraid. I was scared.
Yeah, and after
Very, very scared because I have very rich imagination, and read this book, I couldn't watch the movie. That's actually why I stopped watching Game of Thrones, because I read the books and I couldn't watch the Game of Thrones anymore. Олеся, do you have favorite book or books or period of books?
Yes, of course. During the university times, I used to read a lot of classic books and classic authors. And my favorite authors are such as Chekhov, Tolstoy, Dostoevsky, and so on. And nowadays, I try to listen to lectures of Dmitry Bykov. Have you heard of him? I'm sure.
No.
So he wrote lots of как сказать утопия?
Utopia.
I don't know how utopia in English. Utopia. And
Utopia.
Utopia books. And I like his poetry, and I used to write my own poems, but maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and I used to read a lot of poetry from many other authors, and my favorite are Akhmatova, Tsvetaeva, and of course Yesenin. Vurgun. It's something unusual, strange. It's from Azerbaijan, Samet Vurgun, but it's really fantastic author. So I'm fond of poetry and
poets
Chekhov. Right now, I read a lot of poems. what else? And listen to lectures of Dmitry Bykov. I used to study literature before entering the university. I used to study with a teacher, and it was his mother. And that's why I like Dmitry Bykov, and I suggest you to listen to his lectures.
But his lectures, what are they
about? Lectures in literature, and he knows everything, and he's sharing his opinion with an auditorium. I don't know where he gives them. Yes, mid audience. I don't know where he teaches, but he has lots of he has his own lectures on the radio, and you can find him over there. It's quite interesting.
Okay. Yeah, I will Google it later. An interesting person. Maybe it will be useful for me. So sometimes reread your favorite books. For example, right now, when I think about books I read when I was in school, or when something what I read when I was in university, I don't really remember them. And sometimes right now, sometimes when I think about them, I think maybe I should read them again. Maybe I will have a different attitude to these books now, because right now and my world has changed a little bit, and maybe I will look at old books at a new angle. So, do you reread sometimes before?
Well, I agree with you, Polina. Some books they when you read them, your opinion changes. You see something else that you haven't seen before. I read several times Master and Margarita, Peace and War. Some classic books, Gogol, Chekhov, but it was a long time ago, maybe 5-6 years ago. So yes, I reread it, and it was different.
As for me, can I add?
Sure.
As for me, I used to read classic books, and after that, I listened to the audio versions, such as Тихий Дон and War and Peace, Мастер и Маргарита, and it was quite great experience because when you listen to someone else, you understand it the other way. After some years, your points of view change. They change.
Yes.
And it's very interesting to re-listen to it. But I never. I didn't used to reread them because of the lack of time. But in traffic jams, it's the most perfect way to spend your time is to listen to books, and I advise you to listen to books while driving.
I don't like listening books, actually. I tried, and I understand that it's not my book. To me, it's important to look at the text, to read the text with my own pace, okay, with my own speed, with my own pace. And to me, listening audiobooks is not very interesting thing to do. But I'm trying.
You are not
sometimes.
A driver. Now I know you are not a driver, and you don't know what does it mean to stay in a traffic jam and waste hours
no,
and hours.
Alessia, I live in a different city. I live in different city, and I live almost in the city center. And I never stay in the big traffic jams like in Moscow. You know, we don't have. Well, maybe there are, but there's and you know what I like to do in a traffic jam? In a traffic jam, I sing and I dance in my car. I never read. I do something funny.
I see.
So, Lyoka, I know that Lyoka stepped out for a few minutes, but I think she's back. Do you sometimes reread your favorite books, and does it change your opinion of your book that you thought? Does it change your opinion about this book?
Could you repeat your question, please?
My question was, do you reread books you read before?
Yeah, got it. Well, sometimes I really reread books. Sometimes it doesn't change my opinion on the book, but every time I read, I open something new that I didn't notice before.
That you haven't noticed before.
That I haven't noticed before, right? And it changed my opinion, but it's not like, for example, it was good and then it became bad. Yeah, it just it got wider, you know. So that's
Well, I don't know. For example, sometimes you read one book and you think, "Oh, what an amazing magical story!" And it's such a good book for children. And then you read it when you're adult and you think, "Oh my God, this book is not for children. This book is for adults. It has hidden meaning inside of it." And now you can see it when you're a big girl. For example, I have books in my life that changed. So one of them is about mummy trolley, mummy trolls, and another one is Huckleberry Finn. Because when I read Huckleberry Finn for the first time, it was a book for children, the adventure of a boy who went on a trip along the river. That's it. And in university, Huckleberry Finn was my thesis work. I wrote my thesis about this book, and I realized that it's not for children at all. Hidden problems. And the same with the Mummy Trolls right now. When I read it to my son, I understand that he doesn't understand at all.
well, I don't think that I have read some books in such big time difference. No.
Okay.
I don't read the books what I read in my childhood. I don't know why.
I see.
Can I say?
Interesting. Sure.
I agree with you, Polina, about these books that you read. You have read it in childhood. You didn't notice a lot of things. For example, fairy tales. I was shocked when I started to read fairy tales to my daughter, because I understood that they are awful, scary, and I don't know what they try to teach my baby. I stopped do it because these fairy tales about about Alenushka that got into a witch's hut, and she обманула.
She lied.
She lied to this witch, and then the witch ate her own daughter. So it's a fairy tale for kids. I was so fond of these fairy tales when I was a kid. I didn't understand all cruelty, all this I don't know, scary thing. It was just interesting for me. I didn't understand what really happened. but I don't want to read these fairy tales to my kid because they seems to me not teaching to anything.
You know, it's strange, yes, because when we were children, we read a lot of fairy tales like this. You know, I remember we had a set of fairy tales. Maybe I don't think it was Russian fairy tales, but just a book with different fairy tales from different countries. And there was a story similar to Cinderella story. There was a prince who was looking for a girl who lost a shoe, and this girl had sisters, of course, and the sisters wanted to be princess wife, and one sister cut her toe, okay, and then and then she cut another sister cut her piece of her heel, and you know it was absolutely normal. So she cut a piece of her body to fit into the freaking shoe, and then right now when I'm thinking about that, my imagination says, can you imagine how much blood was around when she was trying to put on this shoe? Because you know she just cut piece of her heel, and that was a story, that was a fairy tale for children, you know.
I'm sure it was a German fairy tale. all
maybe
the fairy tales from Germany, they are very cruel.
but our Russian fairy tales, they also cruel. I read this fairy tale about the dead and alive water, where the prince goes after the princess and Zhar Ptitsa and etc. And there is a moment when his two brothers they decided to kill him to take everything what he got from him. So they killed him and they cut him in pieces and left in the field. And then after that, the grey wolf took the live water and he spoiled.
Sprinkled
on the Ivan Tsarevich, and then he arrived and he killed his own brothers after that. And then he came to his father, and his father said, "Oh, they were so bad. Okay, I love you." So what is it about? I don't understand. I always thought that fairy tales they have some wisdom, some things that should воспитать, Господи.
To bring up,
to
educate.
Yes, to educate the kids. But this fairy tale, it's not about it. I don't know what is it about.
Remember Конек-Горбунок, even innocent Конек-Горбунок, the king jumped into the boiled milk, okay, and died.
Yes. It's awful.
You know, but the thing is that children, when you read to the children these stories, they do not they don't know as much as we do, and they don't have such rich imagination maybe as we do. And because I remember myself when my grandmother read these books to me, or my mom, and I didn't think it was something bad. Okay, he was boiled, he was a bad, so it's okay. It's okay for him to be boiled,
but you know, I agree with you from one side, but from another side, kids, they are they can be very mean. They can be very cruel and angry, exactly because they don't understand the feelings. They don't understand what they are doing exactly. So they just express their anger to the other kids, for example, but they don't really understand what they are doing. So I think the fairy tales has to teach them. Have to teach them to be kind, to understand the other people's feelings and etc. But they don't.
Don't teach it. Well, It's a very deep and complicated question, Elizaveta, I think. But well, but anyway, you should introduce your child to different cultures. Okay, you should introduce your child to the world of Russian fairy tales, to the world of fairy tales of Братья Grimm. Okay, and other wonderful children books. Well,
I agree with you, but I can't stop myself from comments that Cinderella is absolutely foolish. That I don't know, the Snow White, she's I don't know. they all these books, they don't. They are not about use your mind to do something clever. They're about patience. They're about waiting for the somebody who save you and etc.
Miracle.
Yes, miracles. Not about take everything in your hands and do something. Just waiting. I hate
these fairy tales. I remember when I was a big girl and I broke up with my boyfriend and I was crying in the kitchen and I was saying to my mom, I was like, Mom, why all fairy tales say that I'm supposed to wait for the prince and we are going to live happily ever after? Why? Nobody said that after their wedding there was no happily ever after, and it's a hard work to live together. And I was very angry at all these books.
Yes, I do understand you.
Yeah. Okay, Lyoka, Olesya, it seems that Elizaveta and I, we are on the same wave, with the books. So what about you? How do you feel about scary Russian fairy tales or scary any fairy tales? And do you think it's good to read these books to your children or not?
I don't like them. And I don't read them. I prefer some modern fairy tales of foreign authors. For example, one of our favorite...
They're kinder.
Sorry?
Kinder. They're kind.
They're kind, yeah, they're kinder, much kinder. For example, Sven Nordqvist is like that in Dutch author. I think wrote a series of books about Petson, an old man Petson, and his speaking cat Findus. And that's what my son loves very much. And also bought a lot of books, mostly of foreign authors, because I don't like.
Does your son like a story about Tuta Carlson and Ludwig XIV?
Yes, we read it.
Book, I love it. It's my favorite from childhood.
Yeah, and we read it too. Well, that's it.
Okay, I see.
Okay,
Olesya, what about you?
I can tell you about my son. He reads a lot. Lately,
How old is your
used
son?
to. He is 9. I used to read and reread Russian authors with him a lot, just like Nosov, Uspensky, what else? Chukovsky, my favorite, and so on. His favorites are Mikhalkov. I don't remember. And «Стране невыученных уроков». And he's fond from Deniskin's story. I don't know. Can I say so?
Well,
yes.
Deniska stories.
Deniska stories. Yes. And what else? And our favorite is Gramota. Alphabet book, I don't know, from Uspensky, and we've read it lots of times. So he reads much more than nowadays, and I like it. We both don't watch TV at all, and all his free time he reads.
But what about your? I understand you have a small child as well, right?
Yes, my baby girl is 10 months, and I don't
She
read.
doesn't care about
I don't
books
read.
yet.
Yes, only we sing, we sing, and that's all. And she listens to my Italian, German, and sometimes English.
Yeah, my daughter does exactly the same. She listens to all my lessons, to lessons I give, to lessons I take, and to everything I read to my son. Okay, that's very interesting. So, how do you decide what to read? And can you judge a book by its cover? For example, you look at the cover of the book and you think, the picture, or I like the cover and I'm going to read it. So how do you decide what to read, and can you judge a book by its cover? Okay, girl.
By its cover, I like the biographies. If I like the person and I'm interested in his story, I can buy a book judging by the cover, but only the biography.
Only, But how do you decide what book to read, for example? For me, sometimes it could be my friend's recommendation. Okay, so for example, my friend would say, "Oh my God, I just read it. It's great. It's very interesting. It's very dynamic. It has a good language." Blah, blah, blah. Or something like I read the list of must-read books. 100 books that every person must read, or there sometimes EdMe, they make a list of 5 popular books and I go through it, and that's how I decide what to read. What about you, Alice, for example? How do you decide what to read?
I always listen to my best friends, and I read their books. So I always listen to the advices, and I would never read the book. I don't. No, I would never read a book I've never heard about.
I see. Okay, so you would never read a book without a recommendation. Alice, just a little correction. Advice is always singular.
Okay.
Advice.
No advice. Okay. Uncountable. I remember. Sorry.
Всегда единственное числа. Okay. Yoka, how do you decide what to read, and can you judge the book by its cover?
Well, I can't judge a book by its cover. It's impossible for me to buy a book just because it's cover. And usually I buy books through the internet. So covers means nothing to me. I read recensia or the.
Just a second. I understand what you want to say. So you read the feedback.
The feedback, yes. I read the feedback. I'm looking for, not looking. I'm every year I'm waiting for the Nobel Premiere of Literature, and if I
award, Nobel Award.
Nobel Award and in literature. So if I see some authors I haven't heard before, I usually take a book and of this author and read it. And if I like author, then I read all what he wrote. So yes. So it's my way. So I also listen to my friends and to Dmitry Bykov, for example, what he advises us to read. So something like that.
So you have something in common with Alicia. She also
I also like Dmitry Bykov, but I can't listen to his lectures of literature. I tried several times, but his level is too high for me because in his lectures you have to be prepared for his lecture, because if you read the book I don't know 10 years ago, you just don't remember all these little moments that details yes, that he began to discuss, and it's like you haven't read this book at all. So it's hard for me. He's too high level for me. I'm not so good in literature, but I'm very fond of him and his poetry and his humor. He's great, definitely.
Ljoka, how do you decide what to read?
I listen to my friends and I read the reviews, the rating of the books, and that's how I choose the book. Nothing special.
Okay, so I have also a question. So unfortunately, our hour went very quickly, and I still have a lot of questions to you. And going back to our articles, one of the main questions right now in our modern world is paper books. Anything you would like to say?
I prefer to read paper books, because I like them. I like the feeling of the book in my hand. I like the feeling of the list of its pages.
Letter.
Нет, not to flip.
Maybe to flip.
I will check it. Wait a second.
Okay, so I like the smell of the paper, and I can't read from the computer monitor. And
turn the book, turn the pages. What's wrong with me? Sorry.
Yeah, right. To turn the pages. And I don't have this modern thing called electronic book. Yeah, they say that it is very useful and comfortable to read for eyes and all this stuff, but I don't have it, and I don't think I want it. Sometimes yes, but in general I prefer to buy books, paper books, or to take some books at my friend's house, for example. That's how sometimes
Some people in one of the articles, they said that people who like the smell of books, they're just trying to be a little bit nostalgic about old times when old books were in paper covers and so on and so forth. But for example, as for me, I don't like the smell of old books. I like the smell of new books, the books in the store, and for me it's very important to hold the book, to touch the book, to turn the page, to hear the sound of turning page, and it gives me absolutely different emotions after I read the book. Of course, I read a lot of electronic books right now because it's more comfortable. But if I have time and if I'm able to find the book I want to read in paper version, I'd rather read it in paper version. So, Olesya, Elizaveta, what do you think? What do you prefer, ebooks or paper books?
Okay.
I'll wait.
Okay, I prefer paper books. I many times tried to read ebooks. I can't. I just can't. I don't know. I'm doing anything but not reading it. So it's hard for me to read the text in. On my iPad or my iPhone or even on big computer. I don't like it. I don't understand it. So
and as for me, I try to read both on paper and electronic books. but there is a big difference. For example, when I have time and when I'm on vacation, I prefer to turn pages from the real books, and when I don't have time, when I'm at home or at work or somewhere, anywhere, I try to read everything from my iPhone. This is the only way I can get information. And I prefer to. I remember what I wanted to tell you. The worst what I have with all the books, I did not manage to read till the end all the new long books. Do you understand what I mean? Long, not long books, very thick books. For example, I tried to read Games of the Thrones, and I didn't.
Yes, crazy.
Yes, I didn't manage to read them till the end.
Maybe
it's all because of the maybe boring, maybe because of the electronic books. It's for me, it's much more easier to read paper books till the end. That's all.
You must finish it. With my situation with the Game of Thrones, for example, because this it's a series of book, right? A series of books. It's like there are 6 or 7 of them, and I read 5 of them. I realized that by the end of 5th book, I feel nauseous because of the description of different tortures, and that's why I stopped it. Not because. But from the literature point of view, I think Game of Thrones, it has nothing interesting. A fantasy story.
I think that films are much more interesting in this way. I tried to read after the. Wait, I'm sorry, my baby girl. I tried to read the book after the watching soap opera. Can I say so? And I didn't like it.
Is something different. Right now, it's a TV series, a TV show. No, it's TV series. Game of Thrones is not. Soap opera is Manuela or Dickie Angel. That's soap opera.
I see. But how do you call Game of Thrones and such so many series? No, serious.
You know, right now TV series, they stepped on such a different level. Now there was soap operas, and before they were soap operas. Right now, all these short TV series or long TV series, they stepped forward. People spend so much effort doing it, like the actors, the special effects, everything. So it's very difficult to call it a classic soap opera. It's a very well made So, but I understand you. Well, as far as I understand, the majority of us prefers paper books. We'll understand that we live in a modern society, and sometimes we need to read it online. But Lyoka says that she cannot read ebook, and she doesn't even have one. Do you have ebook?
Yes, I have some apps for ebooks, but I don't read them, as I said. I can't read the ebooks.
You know, to me, the situation is very interesting. If the book is super interesting for me, like it was with «Пять долек апельсина», or «Shantaram», for example, I read it, and it doesn't matter what I read, or it's a paper book. But if I read for pleasure, of course, I'd like to hold it in my hand. Hey,
you know, it's very hard for me to read the ebooks because my eyes are tired. I like to read books, you know, one at a time. Then I start book, and until I finished it, I can't stop. So I go deep into the situation, into the atmosphere of the book. And when I read ebooks, I can read them only by small pieces because I'm tired. I get tired. So I don't like this process because of it. You know, I can't read them for a long time.
But right now there are so many readers. For example, my reader, my my mom gave it to me because I was moving from one country to another, and I was not able to bring all my books with me. So the only possibility for me was just to download the books and read them in electronic format. It was pocketbook, yes, and they have a special format for eyes, which keeps your eyes at a very good level. Because I wear contacts. I have problems with my eyes, and also my eyes get tired easily from the screen, you know, and from looking at the screen, from reading from the screen. And reading my pocketbook is okay. It never affected my eyes so much. Maybe it depends what ebook you're reading, because when I read iPad, yes, I had the same problem. Okay. When everybody when everybody switches off microphones, and it seems like I'm the only one here and I'm talking to myself.
Here we are. We are listening
Thank you.
to you.
Thank you very much for being here.
Let's make a list to read before summer.
Well, it will take another hour to make a list to read, because I'm sure everybody has their favorite books and they would like to share. And if anybody has any ideas, maybe you can write them on Facebook page of Школа, or maybe here in the chat, and just send some recommendations. What books are interesting to read. Unfortunately, our hour is up, and the time flies so fast. And I thank you very much for sharing with us ideas of your favorite books, or what books do you prefer, and how do you choose books to read. To say that our next speaking club will take place on Thursday at 11 o'clock. Very happy to see you back here. It will be my birthday, so please come.
Nice.
It will be like a present for me to see you back to our speaking club. And any ideas, what topics you would like to choose for the next video?
Maybe we can discuss like parties, birthdays, something.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Unusual presents.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, okay. Let me sum up what you just said. We can discuss different leisure activities, right? Not only parties and unusual presents, but we will combine it in a topic about leisure, okay? About having fun.
Yeah, let's do this. Yeah.
Let's do that. Okay. So next Thursday we will step aside from serious topics like reading and literature, and we will talk about something funny, happy, and not interesting, something that makes us silly sometimes. Okay. So I wish you all a very good long weekend, because this weekend is going to be long. All those people who are in Moscow, I hope your great weather will continue for next week as well. Lyoka, who is in Crimea, enjoy your wonderful weather in Crimea.
Thank you.
And I will go back to our now in St. Petersburg.
I wish good weather to you in St. Petersburg.
Okay, see you next week, girls. Bye.
Thank you.
See you. Bye. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Bye-bye. Bye.